Well, hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. Here I am again, as promised, trying to fit some filming into my schedule, which has now become a little bit fuller than it was, which is actually a good thing. So I'm going to chat to you through this video while I'm putting on makeup and just chat about what has been going on, why I've been missing and all that kind of good stuff, and put some makeup on at the same time because this is scary. I'm having a breakout at the moment and my skin is not the best, but a lot has been going on, so stress definitely has an impact on your skin. So there it is. Now, just in case I'm moving and you feel you get a bit shocked, there is someone behind me. This is Eve. Yeah, just because. She sits on the back of my chair. She's a fortune teller from the B&M Halloween collection when they were selling the Halloween stuff off, which you got to be fast because the Halloween sales are crazy. I'll talk a little bit about what I'm doing makeup wise as well, not that you'll be overly interested because I'm not the greatest, but since watching Tati's video with, I'm pretty sure it was, is it Scott Barnes? Have I got a totally wrong name there and I'm just making things up now? But he's a makeup artist and I watched that video where he did Tati's makeup, and since then I've actually been doing some of what Scott Barnes does, because I just think that it works really well with my combination skin, and it's particularly worked well during the hotter weather because, I don't know, it just stops my makeup from cracking and, you know, just like rubbing off throughout the day. It just makes it last longer. I've got Tarte Shape Tape on. I haven't got my glasses on, so I know I look crazy when I get my little eye thing out, but I'm gonna do it. Right, this one's in light. And I use this all over the face. I really like this concealer to put underneath, and I'm just buffing that in with a Spectrum Brushes flat top brush. But I like the way that this kind of just blends so nicely into the skin. It doesn't feel thick, it just feels like skin. So that's great when you're putting like other products on top, because I just feel that everything works really well on top of it. And the reason I use this first is because I do have redness, I do have some rosacea, and also I have spots, so I just find that that helps cover up that, and then my foundation isn't working as hard. Whereas before I'd put foundation on and maybe have to put a couple of layers in places and then put concealer on, and I just found that it was too much, too heavy, because if your skin is oily throughout the day as the oil builds up, you've got too many layers, it just wasn't working well for me. So now I put this on underneath. As you can see, that's really cancelled out a lot of redness, and I just find that really works for me. Now I'm actually going to put foundation on with the Real Technique sponge. If you watched my empties recently, you would see that the body sponge is actually the one that I like to use to put my foundation on. And it's huge. When you put the water on, it just goes absolutely huge. But yes, mine was all cracked on the top, and I think it's with squeezing that's what happens when you squeeze out water. I think eventually that happens. So I've actually been squeezing this one. I've put it on the palm of my hand and then squeezed it from here. I don't know if that'll make a difference, but we're trying. But I do prefer the colour now. It used to be kind of more orange, and this is more peachy, and I much prefer it. I'm using the L'Oreal Lumi Magique. I ran out my Fenty foundation, everybody. If you've watched my empties, you would have seen that. Very sad moment. Very sad. But hopefully I'll get that again in the future. But I do like the Lumi Magique. It's very nice. I'm going to pop this on. The only thing I find, does anybody else find, even though you wet the sponge, do you find that you use more foundation? I mean, the coverage is great straight away there. And you can see, because the concealer's on, there's not a great deal of redness there. So that's really good. I just sometimes feel like I just use a bit more foundation when I do it this way. Where I've been. I can't actually remember the date when I actually kind of stopped filming, but kind of just went through a bunch of stuff really. I was working somewhere, and I'm not going to go into great detail about that, but had some issues with somebody I was working with, kind of put a complaint in that was kind of disregarded, and then was not asked to come back basically, which was very sad because I really enjoyed being there and the experience and everything. Really, as much as anything, the people who, well, I was teaching basically, so the people I was teaching were absolutely amazing, and I really enjoyed it. But that ended. I went through some mental health stuff, some depression, some anxiety, because it was just like sometimes do you ever feel like, when are you going to get a break? Like applying for things, not getting anywhere, or interviewing and coming second, or whatever, just loads of things that just seem to be kind of like not going our way. Like something would look like it was going to happen, like I interviewed for a job, got the job, and then I couldn't get the job because although I got the job, it was in the area that I could travel to, and then unfortunately they couldn't get enough students in that particular area, so they had to go somewhere way further afield, and it was going to end up that it was going to take me around 2.5 hours to get there. So that's 5 hours out of the day in travel, and it was really expensive, and it wouldn't have been viable really. So that fell through, and it just kind of felt like this is just one thing after another that's not going right. And I'm a very positive person, I try to stay that way, but sometimes, you know, when loads of things are going wrong, it's difficult. Plus my dining room floor is collapsing, and my front room floor is not in a very good condition either, so it's kind of like, you know, so much stuff. So yes, there was all that and kind of worrying about obviously financial stuff. And then I decided that I would return to university. So here's the thinking behind that, is that I have been applying foundation for like 3 minutes now, which is unnecessary. It's because I'm getting talking and distracted. So I decided that university would kind of achieve a few things. There was loads of jobs. There was not many jobs for the A-level psychology teaching, which is what I want to teach. That's just the love of, you know, my educational life. I love psychology. But there was not a great amount of jobs. And I could teach criminology. I actually did get a criminologist. See, here's another one. I got a criminology job teaching. But then, because of funding, the college decided that they would actually use somebody internally who already taught there and kind of juggle things around. And I think it was because when people enrolled, maybe less people enrolled in another course that they taught, so that's what happened with that. So there you go. So anyway, I decided that there was an absolute massive amount of lecturers' jobs. Literally at one university there was 10 lecturing jobs in psychology. There was around 3 or 4 universities in the area that were looking for psychology teacher lecturers. So yeah, they all had jobs going, and basically you need to have a master's to lecture at university and be willing to work towards your PhD. So I thought, well, let's open some more doors basically. I mean, I got my QTLS earlier in the year, which is a qualified teacher learner status, which means you can teach in higher educational facilities, so college onwards, and some secondary schools accept it also. So kind of just doing things to open as many doors as possible because I love teaching. So the reason to do a master's is I'll be able to teach in some secondary schools, colleges, sixth forms, universities, and I just thought this would be a great opportunity to open those doors because I would really like to lecture, because I'd also like to get my PhD. It's kind of a dream that I thought would never happen for me, and I thought masters was actually a dream that I thought would never ever happen for me, that I'd always wanted. I've got MAC block powder, the Real Techniques powder sponge. I'm just going to blot that on. But the other reason for doing a master's was that I'd be able to get funding, so I'd be able to have a little bit of money to live on rather than just have nothing, because I didn't have a job and I was struggling to find one. So I kind of just thought, well, this will pay my fees and have a bit of money in the bank to pay my outgoings. So that was, yeah, the idea. Anyway, and something that popped up, and I have taught a little bit of it, and it's definitely something I'm interested in, is criminology. And Durham had a course, and that one was just criminology, I think, masters in criminology. But then the University of Northumbria had one, and it's a masters in criminology and criminal justice. And the criminal justice part it kind of opens a few more doors, whereas if I wanted to go and work for the police force in sort of policy development, things like that, just kind of opens that door also. So I just thought, well, this is good. You know, criminology is something that interests me. So I applied for that, and I was lucky enough to get on. It was actually a bit of a process. It was like filling the application form. Then you had to fill in kind of like a written interview form, like, you know, what's your experience, why do you want to do it, what do you plan to do in the future, and why do you think you should be on this course. So I filled that in, and then I got accepted, and I was so thrilled with it. I was just really excited. And then there was just a big hoo-ha with all the finance, because obviously I had to apply for the finance. If I didn't get the finance, I couldn't do it. It literally went down to 3 days before the deadline where I had to say whether I was doing this course or not. And if I said it and I didn't have the funding, then they charged me a certain amount. So it was just horrendous. Sent the forms off. This is wrong, fill these in, did that. No, you need to post them in, did that. It's because I had an application on the system from a couple of years earlier, and that basically was kind of just frozen there, and because they hadn't closed it properly, they couldn't then put a second one on like online, so I had to do it through the post. I did that, then I came back and said no, these forms are wrong. So then I did it again. They kind of cleared it online for me eventually after 3 goes. They finally got it right. I did it online. Then I sent in my forms, my birth certificate, but then they kind of messaged me and said, hey, you know, we need a verification. My cousin's girlfriend's in probation, so that fit. I had to ring them and say, will this be okay? And they were like, yes. So she immediately came down that day, signed the forms, got them sent back, and literally 3 days later I was on the site. Sorry, just blending the powder and everything together. I was on the site and it was just crashing. I think that basically they were just kind of, all the students were like online going, where is the funding? Am I going to get it? Eventually I got it sorted, and even before I got the letter I knew that I had the finance, because it was like, right, this is what you're going to get and when. So that was good. I didn't have to pull out. I'd already accepted the position. So that was exciting. So yes. And then so it's just sometimes things kind of just, I don't know, it kind of felt like it just, the universal lines, does that make sense? It felt like that. I got contact of a woman, basically when I was at the centre that I was working at. She was working for a local council, and she was actually she had to come in and assess lessons, so she had to do an observation just to make sure that all the teaching was correct, and you know, are you teaching English, maths, why can't I remember, ICT, are you including those elements in your lesson, are you like looking towards safeguarding. It's just looking at all the things that you should be doing as a teacher and making sure that you're teaching according to that. So she came and I got a really great review of her, had a great chat, and then she said to keep in touch. So she found me on LinkedIn, and then she contacted me about 2 weeks ago and said, hey Lisa, not sure if you found work, have you got any availability? And I was like, what? This is crazy. So I messaged her back and it just happened. It was like, yeah, I can do that. So I'm a support worker, and I'm just chatting away and I'm not doing makeup. See, this is what happens. Right, I'm going to do my brows just quickly before I tell you about that. I'm going to use these here, and this is the Tattoo Brow Pomade, and I've got 04 Ash Brown and 01 Taupe. I like to do taupe on this part of the brow, the front, and then ash brown at the back. And I do that because I have hair here, but it's very sparse here, and I do need to pluck them, so I do apologise. So it's basically as a support worker. I'm working at another university doing that. I'm just supporting in session and taking notes, and I actually started that just this week. It's my first week done, and I absolutely loved it. I enjoy it. I'm really fast, type around 120 words a minute. I actually use like an iPad and keyboard to take the notes. It's just a lot easier. They're easier to edit and then to save as a PDF and send them to the student. So yes, so I've done my first week and I absolutely love it. And it's not a huge amount of hours, but it's a start and it's just really enjoyable. And to be honest, it's just great to have notes. There's going to be some money coming in, and just for the fact that it's something that I enjoy. It's still something in education, which is really important to me. But also it's not too many hours, because the masters is like, it's really heavy going. There's a massive amount of reading. I've got 2 assignments that are due in January that are both 5,000 words. Penal policy. Oh, Doreen! Where did that peg go? I am really enjoying it so far. I started in October. I've just done week 5. So I started in October, and I made friends immediately. And basically the first day that I was there, I'm walking around campus. I wasn't used to the buses, so I was there super ridiculously early, but I did get a free McFlurry. They were giving free stuff away on the first couple of days to students, which was quite nice. And I'm wandering around, and then this girl kind of was like, Lisa, are you Lisa? Because obviously I had my photo up on my student profile, and she recognised me by my red hair. So that was really nice, and it was just really nice to see some mature students on the course, because I was just kind of worried that I was going to be the only older person there, and I was like, oh no, no please, I don't want to just be the only old person. So there you go. But I'm absolutely loving it. Right, I'm going to use this blush by LA Girl called Just Because. That is what it looks like. I actually use this as a contour because it's actually a really nice contour shade. And I'm going to use this little Real Techniques brush, because look at the placement that you get with that. I really like it. It's kind of just because it's domed at the top, you get like, it's quite precise. So yes, so now I am a student at university. I got 2 days a week. I get a lift one day for my mum and dad to kind of save bus fare money, which is good. And then the other day I get the bus myself. But I absolutely love it. It's fantastic. And yeah, and I'm working now as well. And luckily those hours fall on university days as well. So that's very good. It gives me, you know, the ability and the time to be able to still do the reading that I need to do for my own course, which is good. Because like I said, it's quite intense, and I want to come out of it with a really good grade. Because when I go to get a job, lecturing hopefully, I want to stand out as having like a really high grade. So I'm going to pop on a bit of Benefits Dallas. I just always do this right at the back, just to add a bit more depth, because this is where it would be more hollow, like at the top here. But if I got a job teaching A-level psych, I'd be okay with that. But ideally I'm looking to teach at, you know, university level. I may not fall straight into it straight away. Like I said, a lot of jobs were advertised for this academic year, so it may be that there are not so many next year, but fingers crossed they will be. But I just think it'll put me in a better position. I haven't just kind of gone, okay, I'm just going to go and do a random job that's nothing to do with education because I can't find a job. I've like stayed within education because it's really important to me, because I absolutely love teaching, so I don't want to walk away from it. So that is why I am doing what I'm doing, and I really love it. I love being a student again, and I love the job that I've just got. Right, I'm going to use Sigma bronzer, and it's called In the Saddle. I don't think these are called, this is a bronzer as such, it's called an aura powder, but it's definitely a bronzer shade. These are very pigmented. I'm just going to use another of the Real Techniques powder blue brushes. I use that same brush actually. I'm obsessed with Benefits Coralista. It's definitely one that's a repurchase, and it will have to be next year. Look at the big massive hole in that. I should do a video on items that are kind of like my holy grails that I would have to continue to repurchase. To be fair, I've had Coralista. I want to say I've had it about 6 years, so yes, I know it's probably out of date, but it smells beautiful and it's absolutely fine. So I do have like my ride or die type products. Definitely Coralista and Hoola for Benefit. They discontinued the Georgia powder, but I did pick a couple up after they discontinued it, because that's one of my favourite powders from Benefit. I'm very disappointed they discontinued that. I haven't bought Benefit forever, so there's a bunch of new ones out, but they kind of just don't speak to me like the old ones used to. The ones I use the most are Dandelion, Coralista, Dallas and Hoola. When this is all gone, I am going to have to get another Coralista because it's just the best. In personal life, I've just celebrated 7 years of marriage. Very happy. So there's that. My daughter just turned 20. Yes, I know. I was 10 when I had her, so that's okay. Joking, but I was young. I was a young mum. I'm really glad that I did that, because I think that if you had a crystal ball, it'd be great to kind of, nothing against people who have a child older, but I have so many health conditions now at this age. I think I'd find it quite difficult to do what I did with my daughter when she was young, because when she was young we used to go swimming and we used to go to museums and the cinema and we used to be out all the time when she was little. I used to go to toddler group twice a week with her and we did so much, and I did sports days, and I was just so full of energy. And it's been very difficult for me with, like, I have fibro and possibly early onset poly, which is like the upper body, and IBS and asthma, and yeah, so I have an underactive thyroid as well, so a lot going on. It's not great. Don't get your violins out just yet. I cope with it, but I just kind of think that I wouldn't be able to do quite the same amount of stuff, and so I'm really glad that I did it that way. I'm going to use the Revolution Prime and Lock Eye Base. I am absolutely obsessed with this. I'm going to pop this on because I think I've done everything that I wanted to face-wise. The base isn't looking too bad, is it? It's quite nice. As far as weight loss goes, I haven't been on plan for quite a few months. I think just around the May time. I did work the elections and stuff that went on in June. The police commissioners and the ordinary, so that was great to get a bit of money coming in there. I did do that, the postal vote and the count, and hopefully I'll be doing that again for the general. I'm doing that, so I've been off the weight loss plan for a while, just with, like, it's so difficult when you're feeling so depressed and anxious and there's a lot going on, and yeah, it was hard to stay on plan, but basically because I changed my eating habits and I felt like I shrunk my stomach because I'd lost 23 pounds and I was just eating a lot less portion wise, and I'm not doing it how other people do it. I still eat pizza and nice things and crisps and chocolate. I didn't want to cut those things out because I wanted this to be a lifestyle change, not a diet, because I think sometimes in my experience, if I've dieted and I've cut everything out, when I stop because I've reached a point, then it's easy to put the weight back on because you start eating stuff that you haven't been eating. Whereas if you continue to eat those things but you just eat less of them in smaller amounts and less often, but you can still have them, then I think that makes a difference. I'm also kind of shifting to, I drink ginger Pepsi, which is sugar free, so that's also a good thing. Just a few little changes that I made, and I feel like it's helped me maintain that. I had maintained the weight. I have put 4 pounds back on, so technically I'm still 19 pounds down this year, and I am intending to get back into that this week. I feel like I've done like 5 weeks of university, I've started this new job, and I feel like I'm just kind of getting into a rhythm and a routine and a schedule, so I'm going to start working out again. The weight falls is every other day, so I'm going to do Wednesdays and Fridays are my days off. I'm going to do Wednesday and Friday and Sunday workouts. We're going to get back into that, drinking more water. I have been making some slightly unhealthy choices, but I've only put 4 pounds back on, and that's since I fell off about May. So I think that that's actually really good. I haven't gained a massive amount back. I didn't stop and then everything went back on. I did stop exercising. I did stop being quite so strict, so I'm not drinking as much water, and just like during the week I wasn't eating potatoes very much. I was just having a little amount, and then I wasn't eating pasta and rice Monday to Friday and just having that on the weekends. So now I've changed, I did change that from May, but I've only gained 4 pounds back and I feel that's really good. And I'm waffling at you. Right, okay, so I'm going to get my glass of brushes. This is a beautiful glass, TK Maxx one, ages ago. I don't know if you'd still get it. Right, I'm going to go straight on to the eye base, and I'm just going to do like what I like doing at the moment, which is I like red. I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to use this little one from Glossybox. Yeah, I haven't been making Glossybox videos, which is perhaps a little bit of a nice segue into talking about that. So, obviously I dropped off making videos quite so much, just because so much going on, but I did, even when I was making them, I did stop making Glossybox videos, and I'm going to tell you why. And I don't want this to come across like it was like, oh, you know, that it was kind of sour grapes, because it was not. I really, really love this shade down here, so I'm going to put that through the crease, and then I might use one of the other shades as well, but we'll go with that now. And I'm just going to use a Multi-Tech brush from Real Techniques. These are one of my favourite eye brushes. I was disappointed they stopped making these, because I think they're the best brushes they've ever made. So we're going to tap off the excess, and I'm just going to tap this into the crease. I would normally have put some powder down first, to make it easier, but we'll see how this works straight on top of that. Right, so glossy box. I was going to make a whole separate video. I decided not to, so I'm just going to tell you now. So I applied for the Be a Face of Glossy Box. I made a great video. I thought it was a great video. It was up on my channel. I can't remember if I've took it down or privated it. But I really like how it turned out. And I've been with Glossy Box since the very beginning. I signed up. I missed the first box because it was sold out, but I've been signed up since the very beginning. And I have been with them ever since. I love Glossy Box just because it's that monthly treat. It's trying things you wouldn't normally, trying brands that you wouldn't normally come across. And the only box I honestly haven't liked was the Superdrug box, because it wasn't, it's not always about the value, but it wasn't great value, and it was products really that I wasn't really that bothered about. I don't like it when they do a lot of makeup just because I'm quite fussy about makeup. Not that I'm a snob about brands, just I tend to have a liking for specifics, like kind of particularly eyeshadows. I do like that you get liners to try. Some of the brow products have been nice. I like that you get face powders and primers. There's toothpaste, there's shower gel, there's razors. I mean, I have stocked up my beauty cupboards. I've got a massive stock over here of different things, and I just love being able to dip into that and like, oh, now I'm going to use this, and I really enjoy it. I find products that I like that I would purchase again in the future, and I have done with multiple things. So I think it's absolutely fantastic. And so I did, I'm going to take this orange. So I did apply for that because I just thought, well, I've been with them so long. I always comment on social media about the contents of the box because I think sometimes they do get a bit of a rough ride. You know, people, oh, there's not enough makeup, or there's too much of this, but it's about trying new things, and there's only a limited amount of like different types of products. So I don't think it's always easy to be able to like put brand new items in everything, and sometimes the value is really high, sometimes it's not, but it's not always about the value, it's about the products that are in there. Like this actually came from the October box, which was nice. It would have been nice if they'd offered that you could pick the angel or the devil. I get my own box, and then my husband buys me one just because we get the deal, so I think it's £11 a month with postage in, and it's absolutely worth getting for me because it absolutely stocks me up. I haven't bought mascaras and primers and moisturisers and all sorts of stuff in the longest time because I don't need to, because Glossy Box, micellar water, all that kind of stuff, Glossy Box stocks me up. So that is absolutely fantastic. So that's one of the reasons I love them. I do think you get great value, and even if you get a couple of things in your box that you don't like, you can pass them on. I've sold a few things, but I generally just pass them on. And that's great also. I don't care, as long as I get a couple of items in there that does give me, you know, the value, then I am absolutely fine with that. So yes, and I'm really glad that I got 2 devil boxes for the Halloween one, because I didn't like the lip colour in the angel one. I didn't like the eye palette. I'm just so not, yeah, I'm not a neutrals girl. I really love bright eyeshadows. This is what I'm about. I do have some neutral palettes, but I don't have that many, because for me, I find that putting eyeshadow on, I love doing it, and it's just creativity. It's like art on your face. This is what I always say, so this is just my art, and I really, really enjoy it. And look, these shadows are so incredible. So I'm really glad that I got this one, because I don't care for the shimmers in this palette, but the mattes at the bottom, all 6 of them, are super beautiful. I'll actually do a couple of swatches for you so you can kind of see the colours. But those are the colours. I mean, look at that. That is just beautiful. But they are absolutely beautiful. And yeah, I've actually been wearing this palette so much, so I wanted to use that today. But for me, the devil box was the best one. I like the liner. I've actually been using the liner already, so that's really good. And then obviously this, and the lip colour that came with it, the Lord and Berry, the red. Honestly, it's so stunning. I love it. So I've been wearing that a fair bit as well. And I was going to wear it today, but I'm actually just going to put a nude on, I think, today. Though I will wear an eye like this and red lips, because I just, not one of those people that's like, oh, it's eyes or lips. It's not like for me, whether it's your legs or your boobs that you get out, you should only really just do one. I just don't think that rule applies to the face. I think that it's okay to wear a really vibrant eye and then a really vibrant lip also. So there you go. I'm a rule breaker. Alright, okay, so we went off topic. So they did the competition for the Face of Glossybox, and I didn't get through, and they actually gave me £5 worth of points to spend. Obviously I used those on Look Fantastic, and I really appreciated that, and I was like, oh, okay, I really wanted to win because I've supported them so much. I used to get some of the special boxes. I don't anymore, just financially. I was like, oh, okay, I didn't get picked. Look what I've just done. I didn't get picked, but I'm sure that, a lot of people entered. I'm okay with that. And I was absolutely fine with it. And then they put up the information about who had been picked. And I was, I have to say I was just a little bit annoyed at that point. And that's not sour grapes, I don't want it to sound that way. It was just kind of like, I looked at them and a lot of them looked very similar. I feel like when you look at the photo that they released, it was like, I know they probably just did it because it was an image and they wanted everybody to look fairly similar. But by the time they did everybody's hair and makeup the same and similar clothes, they just all looked so similar. Like, where was the diversity? I just was disappointed to not see diversity there. To see somebody with blue hair colour and piercings and a tattoo on their face or on their necks. There wasn't anybody who was really out there. And I get that it's important to have a boy on there, but also he just was like, and where is somebody like, say, like Mitchell? And I'm not a fan, but James Charles, kind of, where are the boys that wear makeup? Because for me, Glossybox kind of covers not just skincare, but also makeup. And I feel like the boy that they picked, I don't think he's the kind of boy who wears makeup. Like, not that that's important, but like, where is that? How much use is he going to get out of everything in his box? I'd like to see the glossy people be people who could use everything in the box and might use everything. And I don't think that he was that, if that makes sense. So I felt a bit let down. I just thought, where is the diversity? Somebody more unique and different for people like me and for people like that to identify with, because it just wasn't there. These were all very similar women who looked very similar and, very groomed and very, you know what I mean? And I'm not that, and I wanted somebody a bit more diverse. So I just kind of felt at that point just, I guess a little bit let down. I don't know if that's the right word, but I just kind of looked at it and thought, oh, okay. I would really love to have been picked. I wasn't picked. I'm okay with it, but equally, where is your diversity here? I just don't see it. And I think that was a mistake. I noticed they haven't done a massive amount with these new glossies. I haven't seen a lot of stuff on the site. I'd like to have seen if they're going to pick people and doing mini videos using some of the products and those being on the site. I think that would be really great. I haven't seen that. It's just kind of they picked them and then they just disappeared into the nether. I don't know. Is it because people weren't that receptive? I don't know. I don't get it. I don't get where all the promotion for this Face of Glossybox went, and then they didn't even do anything much with it. So yes, so that's the reason I don't post that anymore. And like I said, it's not a sour grapes thing. It's just like, I just felt like for me, I do dress a bit differently and I do my makeup differently, and I just wanted to see that diversity there, and it wasn't there. I felt like it was a very safe bunch of people. Lovely people, don't get me wrong, but safe. So yes, I hope that came across okay. But that is the reason why I stopped making Glossybox videos. I'm not saying that I'm going to stop completely. I'm not saying that I won't make them again. It may be that I decide that I am going to. I haven't really made that final decision because I do like sharing what's in the boxes, if I'm honest. So, yes. You may end up seeing in the future videos coming up from Glossybox, but my initial reaction was, I don't know if I want to do that right now. I'm feeling just a little underrepresented and a bit let down. So that's the reason I stopped. Okay. Right. So now what I'm going to do, and I don't do this a lot either, but I'm gonna do a bit of a halo. Right, so I'm going to use the Cut Crease Canvas from Revolution. I absolutely love these eye bases. And this one's called Halo. So there you go. I'm just going to put a tiny dot. This is not something I do a lot of. Oh. A tiny dot, she says. Okay. When I do this, I often use a sugar pill colour, which I will show you. Today I'm just going to use something a little bit different because I want to use something else from another palette, so I'll show you that in a second. What I normally use when I do this is the Sugar Pill eyeshadow in Kiss Kiss. I think this was part of the Valentine's collection a couple of years ago. They released them as singles also, and this is just a beautiful red. So I normally use that one, but today I'm going to use the red from this Carnival palette. A friend sent this to me and I'm really grateful, so thank you. So this one is Valentine, this one here. These are really nice shadows. I haven't played with it a huge amount as yet. So I'm just going to pop Valentine on. I'm just going to use a flat brush and just press that on. Because I've not tried this colour yet. I've not massively used this palette yet, but I intend on. I just, looking at this when I've swatched it, it's so foiled and it's such a nice red. I really like it. I'm going to get that other palette back though, just to take a little bit of red on a brush. I'm going to take the slightly brighter red in the palette, which is that one there, which I've actually been using in the crease. I've actually gone for the darker one today. I'm just going to dust that around the outer sides of this. And I'm just going to take the darker red and just run that underneath the eye. I just think, let's just stick to safety. Because then I can join that up to the outer part of the eye and it'll look really nice. I do like to take it fairly far down, which is why I've used this brush. So that's it really. So I feel like I've caught you up properly there on everything that's been going on, and so I am looking forward to getting back into making videos on my channel. I do have some videos planned coming up. Right, I'm going to do some inner eye highlight, and I'm just going to use the highlight palette from Lime Crime, which is Opals. I think this was the first one they did. I'm just going to use this pink shade here. Just going to use a little brush and just pop a little bit of that on the inner eye. It's a really nice pink shade and I think it really complements these colours. So it's not the best job, but it will do. Right, okay, so liner. I love Urban Decay's Perversion. That is another Ride or Die product. So we'll just pop that in the waterline. And as you can see, so you need that like broader red. I haven't been doing the upper lash line, but I think I will do it today, because I do like how that frames the eye. So we'll pop that on. I'm just going to use one of my little samples of MAC mascara, and this is in False Lashes Extreme Black. And yeah, I'm really happy with that. I'm probably just going to add a little bit of powder under the eye. I'm just going to use the Kat Von D one because it's just like the easiest one for me to get to. Brush it off. Like I said, excuse me if this is not perfect. It's kind of difficult to concentrate when you're doing your makeup and talking at the same time. But I'm pretty pleased with how that has turned out. I really like doing red eye makeup. I think it's really nice. I'm just going to go into the same highlighter colour. Just pop that on. Look at that. That is so pink. And a little bit. And I've got Really Me lipstick by MAC, and I've got a Huda Beauty liner that we got in Glossy Box in Flirt. Really nice liners. Oh, this one's kind of flat, so let's sharpen it up. And yeah, so excuse the hair, it needs washing today, and I definitely need to refresh the colour, but I mean, the edges are a little messy. I wouldn't, if I was going out, I'd be a lot more precise, but I wouldn't be talking while doing it. So, you know, I'm not making an excuse. It's just sometimes when you're talking, it's like concentrating on two things. I'm going to use the Morphe Set and Mist. I used my Glossy Box points on that, so yes. And I ended up getting it for £1.99. Sorry about my dog. Sometimes it's hard. There are 3 adults and 3 dogs living in this space, so sometimes there's a bit of bark, and I do apologise. I try to avoid that. So sorry if that was annoying, but it's gone. He's been taken to be fed, so yes, if you've got Jack Russell, you'll understand. They're very shouty little characters. They're small, they have to make up for that somehow. Anyway, though I did go through a bad patch mental health wise, and we all go through those, I do feel like I've come out of that now. Starting university definitely gave me a huge boost to my confidence, and just getting back into education and enjoying that was a huge experience. I was really glad that I've done it. I'm really enjoying the classes and the people I've met, and just the whole experience of being back in education and learning is fantastic. So I'm loving that. That's boosted me. Being a bit more active because I'm out and about more has boosted me, and getting another job. So I just feel like, fingers crossed, things are looking a little bit better now. We're a bit more on the up, and I'm just feeling a lot more positive, and I'm feeling that my mental health is just a lot better. So that's really good, and it's part of the reason why I'm back, because I feel in the headspace to be able to do this better. Because sometimes it's hard to put on that happy face and pretend that everything's okay when it's not, and I do that a lot, but sometimes you can only do so much of it before the cracks start to show and you can't. So I do apologise, I've been gone for some time, but I really hope you've enjoyed today's video and that you're glad that I'm back. I don't have a schedule as such for my filming and for getting videos up, so please do bear with me while I kind of get that handled. At the moment I'm very much about kind of getting into my work schedule, because now I have that, and not seeing my husband very much, so weekends tends to be a bit more about that time, just because during the week we miss each other completely. I'm out during the day, he's out at night, so we kind of cross each other, like hi, bye, oh, okay, off you go. So it's great because there's always somebody here for the dogs, and he kind of doesn't want to change that until we kind of find out what I'm going to be working in a more permanent basis. So it's just kind of doing what we can now to keep us ticking over, to get me through this, to work towards a better job, and that's what I'm doing. I'm doing this to work towards a better job. It's also fulfilling something, a dream of mine. I always want to get my master's, so we're going to get there, and we're going to get to a better place, and that's what it's about. So I do feel just a lot better, just kind of sort of trying to fit everything in now. Like I said, the education started, then the job started. I want to put the exercise back in, and I want to do the filming schedule, so I want to kind of work out when I'm going to definitely do that on a weekly basis, so that I can let you know and you can know what to expect from me. So that said, that's enough for today. I really hope you've enjoyed it. If you have any questions or comments, please do leave them below. And yes, thank you very much for watching as always, and see you in the next one. Bye.